There is just simply not enough care being provided.
I've had to buy some sleeping pills, which I crush and put in the juice for them to sleep.
That child has been doped with something.
That sounds like a childcare crisis. This episode is sponsored by the John Vulcan Academy. There is a childcare crisis happening right now. It should be breaking news on every news network and then on the front page of every newspaper. This crisis is not limited to the United States and instead reaches every city, country, and continent around the world. Some of the things women are doing to solve their own personal childcare crisis are so extreme, the women we spoke to within the United States would not speak on camera for fear of being arrested or worse. I did speak to several women in Nairobi and Uganda who are also struggling with the growing childcare crisis, and they too are forced to make some difficult choices. They have courageously agreed to speak on camera in hopes that it results in some sort of help.
My name is Pamela.
Anna. Linda. Kristen.
I'm Robina.
Tina.
I have 2 kids, one 3 years and the other one is 9 months.
Only one, she's 6 months old.
7 years.
12 years. The other one is 8 years and the little one has 2 years.
She's 7 years old.
3 years old, 10-year-old, 16-year-old. I have 18-year-old and 25 years old.
Lacking the resources for any traditional childcare solutions, these women all participate in some form of medicating their children into an all-day deep sleep while they go out to earn money for food.
And the medication it is a painkiller, but it also makes her sleep. So I gave it to her so I can go and leave her sleeping.
I don't have a maid who takes care of my children. So when they are not in school and it is holiday time, I just lock them in the house and I go to work. When my younger child wouldn't stay home by themselves, I have medicated them. You just get them off the counter and tell them that I want some sleeping pills, and they would readily give them to me. I'll take them home and I make my girl swallow them before I leave.
Sometimes I just leave her because she knows how to sit on herself. I just leave the food over there, and then when she wakes up, she'll find the food there. So at that time, I'll be going to the cafe and work. Before she starts crying, I'll be back. And sometimes I give them medication like Piriton, or I tie them on the table. They can't go out. They just be able to play around the house, but not to go far. Though it helps with if they are having running nose, but then it helps them to oversleep. And then I'll go do my things, and then by that time I'll be back.
I've had to buy some sleeping pills from the pharmacy, which I crush and put in the juice for them to sleep.
It is clear these women are conflicted, but they insist they simply have no options.
Most women have no choice because at home they are the breadwinners. They are alone with the kids. If they don't work, they will starve. So they have no choice but to leave their children at home. It's not a good thing. It's actually very bad. If they don't work, they'll starve.
As women, we have to provide for our children, especially like for me, I'm a single mother. I have to pay school fees, I have to pay rent, Medicare, all that kind of thing. And you find that you do not have money to pay for a maid who can come over and take care of the children. So you just find that it is a cheaper option for you to just medicate them. They sleep in the house and then you go and work, and the little money that you earn is able to take care of other needs. So it makes me feel very bad, but I really don't have any other option.
You know, you have to pay for a childcare and you don't have the funds. So you just have to leave the children in the house so that the little money you get, at least you'll be able to bring it back home so that you can buy food. It really makes you feel miserable because you can't afford it.
When you leave your kid at home, at least you know they are safe in the house. Especially, it's more better than leaving your kid to anyone else, but you know they are safe at home. It makes me feel bad because I know my kids are missing out very many things in their life.
They lock them in because they don't have any other option, and the only childcare services available are very costly. Most cannot afford to keep their children there, so they lock them in the house.
As I researched deeper into the childcare crisis, I began to read more and more about a woman named Carmel Larson, who has dedicated her life to putting this crisis to an end. I sat down with her this week to learn more about some of the extreme ways so many mothers around the world are resorting to in an effort to feed their children.
One woman sent me a photo, and at first glance, it looks like, oh, what a cute photo. There's this baby tied to a tree, like instead of tied to a mother, the baby's tied to the tree. But then you hear the backstory that child has been doped with something to allow the child to sleep for an excessively long time so that the mother can work.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Japan, they found a very creative solution to the problem of childcare. They're now using robots.
They've created childcare robots?
Childcare robots that they have rolled out in the thousands and are testing in their daycares.
I mean, my gosh, if we are starting to consider robots, that sounds like a childcare crisis. If you have never found yourself so desperate to feed your children that you had to choose between the lesser of two evils, then you may look at these women and perhaps think to yourself that they are terrible moms. But hang on, it is not that simple.
Our natural tendency is to think, what a bad mother, or what an abusive mother. But the reality is, and these aren't bad moms who are abusing their children. These are mothers who have no other alternative.
They're desperate.
They are absolutely desperate, and it's either work or starve, themselves and their children.
And I'd say the reality of starvation
is pretty desperate.
Is really desperate.
And I think the reason why they're doping their children is to keep them safe.
Doping children has become, in some places, an accepted form of childcare.
That's right. It's the best option that they have.
This global crisis is impacting far more than childcare.
So this has other ramifications as well. For example, women quit their job or move because there's no childcare available in the area. And so in some of these childcare deserts, the economies are lowering significantly because of a lack of childcare. It impacts the workforce.
The actual birth rate is declining, and that the number one reason most people give is because they can't afford or have access to childcare.
That's right.
Is that accurate?
That's right. I know a couple who chose not to have any more children because they couldn't find childcare for the first child. The divorce rates in many nations are skyrocketing. And I think part of the problem is a lack of care, a lack of connecting, a lack of having a break, and just having some time to remember why you love each other and love being parents.
When you think of supply issues, you think of products, but experts suggest that this childcare disaster that is unfolding is in fact a supply issue.
There is just simply not enough care being provided to go around for those who need it. For example, there's a county in California where there's over 3,000 infants on waiting lists for only 256 spots that are filled. The UN predicts that over the next decade, 1 billion women will enter the workforce.
1 billion women.
1 billion will enter the workforce. So who will care for all of those children if we can't even care for the ones that are already here?
I think this whole idea that we're having a global childcare crisis is not for a lack of people who want to help each other. It's for a lack of understanding how to help.
Oh, I think there's plenty of people willing to participate, but there's not a good mechanism in place for connecting them with those who need care.
These days, it seems everybody has opinions on the numerous things they feel are going wrong in the world, but rarely do those who complain offer up solutions. But Carmel is doing exactly that.
We've come up with a really good solution. Moms are available in their homes all over the world. They are the solution to the global childcare crisis. They simply need to have the technology to link them together. The user experience of Momni is almost identical to Airbnb, where you can go to the site and do a search by location and find a mom in your neighborhood. Or if there's not a mom yet in your neighborhood, you can sign up, become a host, and then invite your group of friends to join you.
How does this help those moms, developing countries where it's a financial burden?
We have what we call an hour-for-hour social giving program, where for every hour of care provided in a developed nation, we're seed funding an hour of care in a developing nation. So for example, those 3 hours that I provide care, or another Momni host provides care, then we provide 3 hours of care for a woman in Uganda or Nairobi who needs care.
So you're providing childcare, you're providing income for the moms who need
Both
it.
simultaneously.
That seems like a slightly better solution than doping your children, or leaving them at home alone, or turning them over to a robot.
It's an incredible solution.
If you are a mother or single parent being crushed under this child care crisis, Carmel has a message specifically for you.
Hold on, help is on the way. Reach out to your friends, link together, because those moms around you, if they just knew you had a need, they would circle around you. They would circle up and take care of you. So let them know you need help, and they will be there to help you.
The global child care crisis is real. And for some of you, what you've just seen and heard was shocking and eye-opening. But for others, you're not surprised a bit because you're living that nightmare. Now, whether you are desperate for help or whether you have realized just now that you want to become part of the solution, there are options available. And I hope that you'll consider becoming a part of the solution for helping the children of the world become safer and protected. I want to thank our good friends at John Vulcan Academy, the official addiction recovery program of Tuesdays with Troy, and as always, my longtime friend, Dr. Phil, for supporting the work that we try and do here. If there is something that you think we should be talking about or that we can do for you, tell me about it. Check me out at troythelocator.com or direct message me on Instagram or Facebook. I'll see you next Tuesday.